this is Amy. Thanks so much for stopping back. If you're new to my channel, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button below. Hit the bell next to it so that you get notifications whenever I submit a new video. And I'm going to be showing you how I painted this design or a similar design on my small canvas, which is 6 by 6, and it is 1/2 inch thick around the edges. Nice sturdy little canvas. I will be using a number 10 flat brush, a fine line brush, which is Swistonia. It's actually for fingernails. Number 8 round brush, which is the Princeton Heritage series, as well as their number 4. Paint that I will be using in this video is Thicket, Wicker White, Lipstick Red. These all three are the Folk Art enamels. I will be using Citrus Green, Teddy Bear Brown, and the Moon Yellow. Those are all the multi-surface. Also, get stuff on there. Also from Folk Art. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. With this first petal, I'm going to start by, I loaded my paintbrush with red, then I dipped the tip of it into white, sorry where I'm going with this, and then I'm going to start laying down my petals. The first one's going to be up here in the corner, and I'm basically just pushing the brush down and then laying another petal. It's actually supposed to be one petal, but it's right next to it. So there's basically two sides to the petal, if that makes sense. So I'm doing this and doing this, kind of coming a little bit closer. I might want to come back in with some white just to add to it. Then I'll go back to my paint, dip it in, and then do another petal. Like I said, as you're doing this, you can play with the amount of paint that you're using. If you want more red to show, more white, that's up to you, of course. Very easy stroke though. I mean, you're just pushing the bristles down and pulling. And again, hopefully you're able to see this. Pushing and pulling. I love these little canvases. They're so pretty. They're just a neat size just to do a little bit of art. Art from your heart. Now, I don't particularly like to get a lot of paint caked up on my brush, my bristles. So I will periodically kind of scrape it off. I know some people will maybe even do it into a paper towel or something else that they're using, rag or whatnot. Alright, so there's my first flower. And you can make the center even smaller if you want. I'm going to stick with what ends up happening whenever I'm painting. Alright, so here we go again with the next one. And you can reverse sides. You don't have to go around all in one direction. It does, it doesn't matter. But just very easy. Again, if you watch my videos, you know that that's the intent of my videos, are to create something that really is easy for many people to do, and not something that I'm trying to make it difficult where you have to be, really an expert painter to do. I want people to be able to be creative and feel comfortable being creative, if that makes sense. Again, if you're new to my channel, please make sure that you help me out by subscribing. I am trying to build my channel up this year, and I would appreciate that. If you like my videos, make sure that you share them with your friends. That also helps. On this one, I'm going to go back over it a little bit. Now on this one, I am going to go ahead and throw an extra set in here of petals. There's really no, no law that says you have to have so many. This is just kind of a generic flower. So, I'm not doing anything a specific flower type, so it doesn't matter. Alright, so let's go ahead and keep going here. Doing the same thing. And it's okay to kind of overlap a little bit into the other flowers if you want. And again, keep an eye on the center if you want to have it smaller, not too big. And you can put some curve on your petals too, as far as they don't have to be straight. You can put some curve into them. Make them a little bit longer or shorter from one side to the next, that's fine too. And like I said, just keep, building on the color, get it to where you're happy with it, and that's what matters. There's no, I want to say there's no wrong or right way, really, but that's really not what this is all about. Again, it's my purpose or intention here is to create quick little art that anybody can do. And again, on this one, I'm going to throw some extra petals in because it's really not a certain or specific flower. It's, whatever I want it to be pretty much. Okay, and I can even go back over this if I want to close that middle up a little bit more. That's why I say you can just stand back and take a look at your work and go back into adding more to it. And I'll be honest with you, if you get to a point where you're not happy with it, you know what you can do? You can rinse it off and start again. Always a way to figure out how to correct it or to change it. I truly believe in that. That's a must for me. Now I'm going to go ahead and go on to doing the leaves. Reason being, I want to give the paint a little bit of time to dry so that I can tap in my centers. I find that if they're too wet, then I can't get them to look the way I want them to look. On this painting, I'm just going to stick to very simple leaves. I think on most of my paintings I stick to simple leaves, but that's what I'm intending to do on this one. Also, I want to go ahead before I even get to that point, is draw in some, what I would say are the stems. Make it look like each one has a stem coming down. And they don't have to be thick. They really don't. Make them as thin or as thick as you want. But now that I have those in, then I can continue to add my leaves. With these leaves, I am just doing a basic, simple, kind of a one-stroke petal. And put a little vein in it. And you can do 2 or 3, whatever pleases your eye. You can go over the edge if you'd like. Yeah, that's fine too. Go over the flower edge a little bit. Perfectly fine. Just gotta get more paint on my brush. Yeah, I'll just make it like a little stem was in there. I know the one I did yesterday, it didn't have anything coming off the sides, but I think today on this one I'm going to. And I'm not really paying attention too much to creating like a shadowed side or that kind of thing. It's just however I want to turn my brush, however I want to lay the paint. I'm not really trying to be too specific with that right now. But I think it's cute when you have something coming over the edge like that. Over the flower a little bit. Alright, we'll just keep working it. If there's any particular kind of flower you'd like to see me paint, please leave that down in the comments. As I keep mentioning on my videos, I am going to be doing a restock sale soon on my glassware, my painted glassware, so I can start adding more videos on painted glass. But I'm running out of space to store them, so I really need to get rid of them. That's the reason for the restock sale. Like I said, these are just very simple little petals. I really think that most anyone can do if you can hold a paintbrush. You can even make them longer, extend them out some if you want. You can make them a longer, thin type of a petal. It's really up to you. I'm just going to go back through and just kind of add some little wispies throughout this. Now you also, with this painting, can add more leaves that come down the actual plant stem. And that's what I'm going to do. You know, on the other one I did some thicker flowers and some more like grassy looking things towards the bottom. I'm not sure that I really want to do that on this. I think I'm just going to do a few petals and then leave it at that. I think I like that look a little bit better. And then just kind of leave it like this. Might even bring the stems, the little stems down past the edges here a little bit. Kind of make them look like they're crossing over. Like that. That's my bouquet of flowers. Alright. What do you think so far? Leave a comment down below. Okay, so I went ahead and did a little bit of drying of the flower petals in hopes of being able to tap these in without too much problem as far as bleeding with the red. But with the paint being so thick, it's still a very astute possibility that you will see some red and it won't maybe be quite as nice. The only problem with the centers when you're trying to tap them in. Hopefully you can see. Okay, I'm just going to use my brush here and just kind of tap around. I'm just lightly tapping Try to get that center in. Just using the yellow for right now. It would be easier if I could rest my hand on something, but that's a little difficult, so I am not resting it right now. So again, I'm just lightly tapping using the number 4 round brush. Then I'm going to go into this one and do the same thing. Tap, tap, tap. Then I might want to go back and add some white. And again, this is just kind of tapping it in. Not adding some white, I'm adding a lot of white. It definitely works out better with it having dried some. Because it's not as, make sure I'm not getting in the picture myself, not as, I could pick it up probably, couldn't I? I know my brain sometimes is crazy, but I'll put some yellow back into some of these. I just don't want to try not to overwork it too much, because then it just gets more muddled than anything. And try to keep the tapping going on in the camera focus, camera view. Try not to pick up the red. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just take my liner brush that I had, and I don't think I put any of this on my plate. Tap in the centers with the liner brush. Just tap in, kind of fill this spot in. Do the same here. I'm just basically tapping it in. Tapping in that center. I mean, honestly, you could close up the center if you wanted to. And just do the yellow. And then I'll probably go back in with some of that white again. Just kind of work it a little bit. And like I said, if you have a different way of putting the centers in your flowers, you know, there's a lot of different ways to do it. So, you know, feel free to do centers for your flowers however you're comfortable. Oops. And you can make them look more like dots. However you want to do it, that's fine. You could even, if you wanted to go back through, maybe just add a little bit of darkness, tapping it in towards the base of this. You could do that too, just to give it some direction. Again, it's just light tapping with the liner brush, or you could just leave it alone. However you wanted to do it. What that was. like I said, or you could just leave it alone. You don't have to even add anything to it if you don't want to. If you think this looks silly, that's okay. What is your favorite brush to use when you're putting centers in a flower? I'd love to hear that. And like I said, you can always go back over it a little bit to kind of blend it in a little bit. So it's not quite so stark of a transition. It's kind of blending it. Or you could just leave it alone. And again, I'm just doing a little bit, just lightly tapping. Lightly tapping. Kind of giving it some direction. I'm a lefty too, and it's like, it can be really hard to find a place to rest your hand if you need to. Alright, so I have those, and I do believe that's it. Alright, if you like this tutorial, please give me a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please make sure that you do so now. I would definitely appreciate having you follow me. Hit the bell so that you do get notifications whenever I submit a new video. And until the next one, have a good day.